Everyone says that the young master of the Mason family is deeply in love with me, but nobody knows. He secretly inflicted a lot of suffering on me, the wedding day. He called off the wedding for his old flame who had just returned home. I became the laughing stock. However, I'm not surprised. I just waved at my first love, the little puppy Liam, who has been missing for 4 years. He immediately ran over joyfully. After all, who can say clearly who the substitute is? Tomorrow is the wedding. Mason got completely drunk again because of that white moonlight. I made hangover soup for him as usual. Just as I was about to serve the hangover soup to him, a message suddenly popped up on the phone. The message says, "Stop adding things to the hangover soup. He had an accident. The police have already traced you. There's nowhere to hide." After hearing the news, my hand trembled. A little bit of the hangover remedy spilled out. It seems that someone is watching me from the shadows. I try to stay calm, gaze out the window, on top of the building across. A shadow was faintly visible. "Who are you?" I asked cautiously. There was no further response. The shadow also disappeared. Even if someone wants to advise me, I can only continue, because things have come to this. No way to refund. Mason, let's have a hangover soup. The room is dimly lit. Mason is sitting on the edge of the bed. The expression on the face is somewhat complicated. I serve the hangover soup to him. But this time he didn't drink. Instead, the soup was spilled on my head. The bowl also fell to the ground, shattered into pieces, when the soup dripped onto my hair. His cold voice came, "Please take off your shoes. Stand over there." I followed his gaze and looked down, found a porcelain bowl he had just broken on the floor. Sharp fragments covered the entire floor. "Mason, don't make me say it again." I bit my lip tightly, want to turn and run away, but didn't expect he was one step faster. "Lock the door. Do you still want to escape?" Mason grabbed my hair. "Pull me back." I reluctantly followed him backward. The scalp was being painfully tugged. The whole person was almost being dragged by him. After I was dragged back, he lifted his foot. The shiny leather shoe landed heavily on the back of my hand. Crushed with full force. "Run. Where are you going?" He violently tugged my hair. I can't help but look at him. "Sophia, why can't you understand?" I want to respond to him, but my scalp hurt so much that I couldn't say a word. "Weren't you really fond of me back then?" At that time, he desperately wanted to stay by my side. Now I actually want to leave. It's really ridiculous. He threatened me with his mother's medical expenses to make me stay with him. Now it's said that I took the initiative. He pushed me down onto the ground, covered in shards. I instinctively wanted to avoid that pile of fragments, but as soon as it moved, was heavily pinned down by him. He stepped on my back, put in effort. "If you don't want anything to happen, just be obedient. You know what to do." I can't resist at all. Could only obediently take off the shoes. Walking on the ground covered with fragments. Almost in an instant, the sharp shards pierced the soles of my feet. The pain of a sudden thorn made me tremble all over. Blood stained the ground. I heard Mason's mocking laughter in my ear. "How does it hurt? This pain is right. If you dare to run away, I'll make you suffer more." I glared at him, full of resentment. He laughed even more arrogantly. "Sophia, you are pregnant with my child. I don't care about your past. Willing to marry you. You should be grateful to me. How dare escape?" This sentence made me smirk coldly. "Grateful? The child in my belly is not yours. Half a month ago, I was shopping with my mom. Received a call from Mason. Sophia, Mason is drunk again. He wants to see you. Come and pick him up." He didn't wait for my answer. Just hung up the phone. Never gave any chance for communication. The tone didn't allow for any refusal. Mason considers me a substitute. His friends all know. So they talk to me, always in a tone of disdain and contempt. I'm used to it, seeing this situation. Mom said anxiously, "Sophia, if you have something to do, feel free to go ahead. Mom can go back by herself." I nodded gently, smiled, and said to Mom, "Mom, don't forget to take your medicine when you go back to the hospital. I'll try to come early tonight." Before leaving, Mom held my hand, filled with tenderness. "Sophia, what Mom wants the most is to see you get married and have children. Live happily. The past is in the past. We still need to look ahead." I hugged my mom tightly. "Understood." Mom, when I arrived at the bar, Mason was already completely drunk. The ground is covered with empty bottles. Mason sat backwards on the sofa, holding a woman in his arms. That woman's eyes and brows resemble mine to some extent. Exactly, like Emily. Emily is the bright moon in Mason's heart. They dated in college. Later, Emily went abroad. Today is the day she gets engaged to a foreign man. "Yo, the sister-in-law has arrived." Someone noticed me, called out with a mocking tone. This cry. All the people present looked at me with disdainful eyes. I understand, in their view, I am just a humble existence. I have to rush over as soon as I'm called. A push and I have to leave obediently. "I'm sorry. I'm late." I seemingly didn't notice their gaze, gave them a casual smile. "Which one are you calling?" Just because she looks like Emily. Is there no chance to enjoy this kind of treatment? Speaking, the person's gaze was filled with disdain, gave me a once-over. A sarcastic smile lingered at the corner of the lips. Sophia, don't you have any self-respect? We called you. You came right away, really obedient. Others laughed along. Mason finally looked up, gave me a glance, then pushed the woman in his arms away. Reach out your hand and let me come over. Help me up. I didn't move. As a result, the girls started crying first. Mason, didn't you say you only had me in your heart? The crowd started to jeer. Mason, this is not very good. The little girl has pure feelings for you. What does sincerity really mean? What Mason needs most is Emily's sincerity. Ha ha ha, that's right. Except for Sister Emily, who can catch Mason's attention. They are all laughing. I couldn't help but laugh along, picked up the bottle on the table. Then, amidst everyone's surprised gazes, smashed towards Mason's head. Mason quickly turned his head, successfully avoided it. The bottle shattered. Glass shards flew everywhere. He opened his eyes, vivid eyes. It doesn't look like someone is drunk at all. Everyone was stunned. I was the first to react. Quickly smiled and apologized. I'm really sorry. A slip of the hand. Couldn't help but sigh. How come he wasn't hurt? Mason's gaze instantly turned cold. However, he didn't show it. Instead, they asked me gently, "What's wrong?" Not in a good mood. I silently pressed my lips together, feeling a bit unhappy. Mason smiled. It's okay. Let it out. I won't be angry with you. He always acts so gentle and considerate in front of others, like a modest gentleman. But I understand in my heart. It's all just a facade. Every time after arguing with Emily, he always seems very affectionate, just want to make Emily feel a sense of crisis. Those who don't know the truth outside are envying me. I think I have a great boyfriend, Mason. Little did I know he wasn't like this at home. Indeed. His friends also started to tease. Sophia, stop joking. Mason is so good to you. What else is there to pick at? We, Mason, can appreciate you. It's truly a blessing. Don't be so full of yourself. The woman who was with Mason before, at this moment, also standing nearby, staring at me with a face full of jealousy. Mason is still performing. All right, stop the commotion. I only like Sophia. I saw one of Mason's brothers recording a video with his phone. A cold smile emerged in the heart. This is clearly for Emily. After all, this is not the first time it has happened. On the way home, I gazed at the bright moon outside, suddenly felt a wave of boredom. Mason, I want to break up. Mason was stunned, then smiled and stroked my head. Sophia, what are you talking about? Good boy, stop fooling around. You have to trust me. Emily is just a thing of my past. You are my hope for the future. I love you, Sophia, in my heart. You are completely different from Emily. He looked at me gently. The gaze revealed deep affection. If an uninformed person sees it, he may seem like a romantic person. I feel tired. I don't want to play these games with you anymore. Mason's smile froze instantly. He stared at me for a while, slowly asked, Sophia, are you a bit unhappy? I understand you're blaming me for holding another woman tonight, but I didn't mean to. Just wanted to make you jealous, make you care more about me. Finally, his tone seemed a bit impatient, hearing him say that. I just find it amusing. Mason is just that kind of person. He was as sweet as honey just a second ago. The next moment was as cold as ice. I can't tell which of his statements is true. Which sentence is a lie, too lazy to guess. Just stared at him coldly. Mason, were you recording a video for Emily just now? You want to tell Emily about your troubles through this video. Right. Mason pressed his lips together. Instead of answering, respond with a question. Why do you always misunderstand me like this? I truly love you. Sophia, can you trust me on this? He is still pretending. I really don't want to be with him anymore. Stop. Mason frowned. Sophia, don't joke around. I turned to face him directly, word by word. Mason, I'm not joking. I am serious. Stop. I want to get off. I don't want to pretend with Mason at the villa anymore. And don't want to be that understanding girlfriend. Mason glanced at the driver. Speak. Uncle James, keep going. Sophia is in a bad mood tonight. She is throwing a tantrum. Don't listen to her. He casually said something. Just label me as a troublemaker. I looked at Mason's fake face, felt a bit uncomfortable. Fortunately, I have no feelings for this man. Have never loved him. Once back at the villa, Mason saw my packed luggage. The face immediately changed. He suddenly pulled me in, lying on the sofa, fingers hooked under my chin. Mason's gaze instantly shifted from gentle to stern. The atmosphere around became oppressive. I feel a bit breathless. Sophia, you want to leave me like this? This is the true nature of some people. Pretend to be noble. Yet there is a desire for indulgence. He is emotional. Hands are squeezing my neck. Gradually increase the intensity. In an instant, I felt a sense of suffocation, almost fainting. I understand. He is thinking about Emily again. Mason always vents his resentment toward Emily on me, but in the blink of an eye, it was like a child who had lost their toy, eagerly waiting for her return. Mason leaned closer to me. Bow down. slowly move closer. I felt a wave of nausea. He actually wants to touch me with lips that just kissed another woman. I can't help it. Vomited directly. Got his clothes dirty. Mason's subordinate instinctively withdrew his hand, looking at me with a puzzled expression. Are you pregnant? I shook my head. Not pregnant. I just can't stand the smell of smoke and alcohol on you. Mason fell silent for a moment, impatiently took off the clothes. Threw it to me. Go wash it clean. Do not put it in the washing machine. Need to hand wash. Did you understand? It's so cold, yet still hand washing laundry. It's truly tormenting me. I smiled gently. Mason, my mom's illness definitely can't be cured. Right. A hint of panic flashed across Mason's face. What are you talking about? Mason, did you know when you lie? It's actually very obvious. You've been lying to me, totally deceiving me. You are deliberately delaying my mom's illness. It's just to threaten me with her. Mason quietly stared at me. No words, but I understand in my heart. He has agreed by default. My anger intensified. Another person died at his hands. Let my hatred for him deepen. I try to hold back the pain inside. Not even a tear fell in front of him. Mason, please let me go. I'm really tired. After saying this, I turned around, walked towards the room. At that moment, Mason suddenly ran over from behind, pulled me to the balcony. Half of my body is hanging outside the balcony. Below is a deep abyss of dozens of meters. A cold wind blows on my face. It almost blinded me. Mason stared at me fiercely. I can feel the power in his hand growing. The body is feeling increasingly unwell. A feeling of suffocation gradually welled up. Sophia, you can never leave me. Even until death, you can only stay by my side. I experienced Mason's determination once again. Unexpectedly, his determination is stronger than I imagined. When waking up again, I found myself in the room. What caught my eye? It's Mason's figure. He held the report in his hand. The face was filled with excitement. Sophia, congratulations, pregnant. Awesome. We are about to welcome a baby. I just feel blank. How is this possible? How could I possibly be pregnant? I quickly turned to the family doctor. Did that doctor make a mistake in the examination? How could I possibly be pregnant? The family doctor said with great certainty. Sophia, that's right. You are 1 month pregnant. I really can't make sense of it. How is this possible an hour ago? I really have nothing to do with this. Suddenly, I was silenced more than a month ago. There is no relationship between Mason and me. However, one night, Mason called me to the bar to pick him up. I arrived at the bar, then was pulled into the box. I struggled hard, finally found an opportunity to call Mason for help. As a result, he told me not to get too excited. His friends beside him laughed and said, Sophia, stop messing around. Mason won't come, no matter how entangled. He won't be heart to heart with you. I feel utterly hopeless. The phone fell to the ground. Consciousness gradually faded. The last scene I saw before I lost consciousness. A man walked in. That figure seems a bit familiar to me, but I understand it's definitely not Mason. I have no idea about what happened afterwards. I remember when I woke up. I have returned to the villa. Mason is right next to me, lying quietly just when I was still thinking. Mason suddenly said, Sophia, let's get married. I was momentarily stunned. What? Mason's gaze was on me. Spoke gently, you are pregnant. We need to give the child a home. I am puzzled. He clearly doesn't love me. Why do you still want to marry me? Does he want to make Emily angry? I don't want to marry someone who almost hurt me. Mason, I don't intend to marry you. This child, I would choose to terminate it. My words hurt Mason deeply. His expression immediately dimmed. A look of dissatisfaction appeared on the face. However, he glanced at the family doctor beside him, still held back the emotions. Sophia, I was wrong about what happened earlier. I apologize to you. Don't be angry anymore. Is it okay? I really don't want to see his behavior anymore. The next day, I planned to go to the hospital. As a result, Mason actually brought my mom over. She is very thin. The face is very pale. It feels like aging 10 years instantly. A sudden pain in the heart. Mom just said a few words. I couldn't help but choke up. My mom smiled gently at me. Sophia, it's okay. I heard it from Mason. Damn, there's not much time left. Her biggest wish is to do it before she leaves. Glad to see you getting married. At this moment, Mason interjected. Rest assured, Aunt, Sophia and I have been busy with wedding preparations. I will definitely take good care of Sophia and the baby in her belly. My mom burst into tears. Okay. Good child, you have this sentence. I'm relieved. Sophia, since you are pregnant, don't look back. One cannot live in the memories of the past forever. This sentence contains profound meaning. But when I saw my mother's bent figure, what I wanted to refuse just wouldn't come out. The wedding finally arrived as promised. Mason looked at me in the mirror. A look of satisfaction appeared on the face. He hugged me from behind, staring at my reflection in the mirror. Sophia, don't worry. I will be good to you in the future. The same goes for our children. I've heard this sentence dozens of times. I nodded obediently, afraid that a wrong word might cause displeasure. What Mason really likes is my appearance, not me as a person. I did a bridal makeup. The originally delicate features became even more radiant. It looks more pitiful, just like a first love's little white flower. It also brings him closer to the white moonlight in his heart. Emily, Mason treats me like a puppet. I see him as my goal. I have a strong dislike for Mason. Every moment with him leaves me breathless. I really wish he would disappear from my life. I'm constantly thinking about how to get rid of him. A free spirit naturally has no fears or worries. I have already prepared a win-win solution. Mason knows nothing of my feelings. He is still yearning for the various ways to care for me after marriage. 5 minutes before the wedding starts, my phone suddenly rang. I looked down. It was a message from that stranger before. Please do not marry Mason. Saw this message. I was stunned for a moment, then smiled. Could it be Mason testing me? I can't be bothered to deal with him. Just turned off the phone. Didn't take it to heart. The wedding went smoothly. When I was getting ready to go on stage, the phone rang again. Sophia, I have returned to my country. Are you ready? Absolutely don't cry. Don't be sad. I was stunned. Emily has returned home. There will definitely be changes in this wedding. Exactly what I wanted. At the moment of exchanging rings, Mason gazed at me tenderly. I looked into his eyes, couldn't help but sneer within. I know best how superb Mason's performance is. His gaze is like that of a film emperor. It seems to really love me. The people below witnessed my wedding with Mason. The tone was full of contempt. Do you know, the wedding was simply the result of Mason putting pressure on Emily. That being said, this girl is just a tool for Mason to achieve his goals. That's right. How could Mason have real feelings for her? They have just finished speaking. Mason received a phone call. I'm right next to Mason. Close to him, the caller ID clearly showed Emily's name. My heart is racing, realizing a wonderful moment is about to arrive. Mason answered the phone. Emily's voice came from the other end of the phone. Mason, I still can't let go of you. I have decided to cancel the wedding and return home. Can you pick me up? A joyful expression spread across Mason's face. He left the wedding in front of everyone, leaving me all alone. I stared at Mason's retreating figure. Couldn't help but laugh out loud. This guy, so devoted. The audience below immediately began to discuss among themselves. Ha ha ha. It was clear that Mason could never like Sophia. So pitiful. On the wedding day, was unexpectedly left by the groom. If it were me, it will probably feel very hopeless. Sophia's experience is heartbreaking. Perhaps her appearance led to misunderstandings. Her pursuit of Mason seems a bit unrealistic. Emily is back now. Sophia's role is also about to end. My mom is in the corner of the hall. After hearing these words, a bit stunned, obviously. She can't figure out how things got this way. I walked towards my mom. Just got off stage. Emily sent me a video call in the entire hall. Emily's voice echoed endlessly. Sophia, I certainly don't want to interrupt your wedding, but Mason and I have been in a relationship for 3 years. Can we stay together? The mocking laughter grew louder. I ignored them, just watching the guilt and sadness reflected in Mom's eyes. Felt extremely anxious at that moment. A long arm suddenly rested on my shoulder. I looked up, seeing the smile in Liam's eyes. He smiled at me. Sister, don't be afraid, I'm back. I stared at him blankly. Tears involuntarily filled the eyes. Liam is still alive. How could this be? I must be missing him too much. That's why illusions can be seen. Sister, don't you remember me? Liam smiled softly. My heart suddenly climbed out of the valley. I didn't expect my ex-boyfriend to come back. Liam appeared. The scene immediately descended into chaos. The audience was stunned. Who is this person? Why does it look exactly like Mason? It can't be Mason's brother. But he already passed away, right? Yes. 4 years ago, it was heard that he died in a car accident. So what is going on now? It seems Liam had anticipated all of this long ago. The screen behind him suddenly lit up. The name Liamis prominently displayed above. It is obvious. He was already prepared. Liam didn't care about the surprise of the audience. Gently helped me arrange the veil, eyes full of affection. I stared at him intensely, wondering where he went that year, but he said softly, Sister, can we talk again tonight? In that instant, I seemed to have returned to 4 years ago. I was much younger then, full of energy and passion. At that moment, Liam looked at me gently, a look full of concern. At that time, I really thought, we will keep going, but fate gave us an unexpected challenge. Liam took out a small box from his pocket with a big smile. He opened the box. Inside was a pair of rings, whether it's work or design. It's my favorite style. These rings are more eye-catching than the pair Mason randomly picked out at the mall. The audience began to notice the unique charm of the ring. Isn't this the globally limited edition ring launched by that jewelry designer this year? That's right. I heard this ring costs several million. It seems this gentleman is Liam. Otherwise, how could one wear such an expensive ring? You may not have heard of this. This is the true young master of the Mason family. The Mason family dotes on him. He's the real deal. Is Mason an illegitimate child? Liam ignored them. Just carefully slid the ring onto my middle finger. This size is just right. A smile sparkled in his eyes. Sister, you are so beautiful, seeing him like this. My eyes couldn't help but get a little moist. Liam raised his hand. Hold me in your arms again. Eyes turned to the crowd below. I would like to officially introduce everyone. This is my partner, Sophia. 4 years ago, we love each other deeply, but it was broken up by my brother Mason. His first love has returned to the country. Hope they can be happy. Don't disturb us anymore. The murmurs among the audience rose once again. It turns out this is a conflict between brothers. It's truly amazing. This time, their gaze shifted from disdain to sympathy. Then it turned to jealousy. The wedding was over. I was sitting in the front passenger seat, still a bit dazed. Liam glanced at me with a smile. Whisper, sister, you must not have eaten yet. There are snacks in the storage box. Go ahead and eat a little first. This sentence immediately reminds me of something from 4 years ago. At that time, I was busy with my internship. He always pays attention to my daily life. I'm working overtime. The goal is to hope for a better connection with him. Did not expect. The first one to arrive was actually his mother. She looked at me with a proud expression. Unreserved contempt. She said coldly, "Leave my son, you are not the same person at all." I immediately refused her. However, who could have predicted? The next day, Liam had a car accident. The doctor gave the order. He died on the spot. At that time, my mother was also diagnosed with cancer. Instant. I feel like the whole world is about to collapse. During that time, I'm going through a lot of pain. Later, I found out Liam's death was not an accident. It's caused by others. I intended to conduct an investigation. Did not expect Mason to appear at that moment. He recognized that I resembled his first love a bit. So I was threatened with my mom. Wants me to sign a contract for being a sugar baby. I have a feeling Mason is secretly manipulating things. So I agreed. Didn't expect Liam was still alive. I came to my senses. Gaze at the person next to you. Liam, what actually happened, did you know? What have I experienced over the years? While talking, I couldn't help but cry. Liam hurriedly stopped the car, gently pulled me into their arms. Sister, I'm really sorry I arrived too late. It's all my fault. I cried for a long time, gradually calmed down. Liam looked at me seriously. Inquire, sister, do you still have feelings for me? I didn't answer. Stay silent. Liam seemed a bit disappointed, lowered the head. I plead with you not to get married, but you don't pay attention to me. So I had to come find you. That unfamiliar person was actually him. I couldn't help but smile wryly. You've actually been paying attention to me all along. That's right. Liam nodded first, then shook their head again. He spoke somewhat hesitantly. I got hurt, seek medical treatment abroad, just came back recently. Just thought of coming to find you. However, I'm worried that you really have feelings for Mason, so I haven't dared to see you. I felt something. So he was interrupted. So you know Mason is hurting me. Is that so? Liam bowed his head full of guilt. I clenched my fist. Anger and grievance filled my eyes. Then why didn't you show up to protect me? Liam was silent again. Seeing him like this, I couldn't help but feel a bit upset. You know how I've been living these past few years. Mason, for his pride and love, driven me to despair. Liam gently caressed my cheek. The gaze was filled with guilt and anger. He took a deep breath. Tears streamed down. I'm really sorry. I couldn't protect you properly. What Mason did to you. I will definitely make him pay for this. The car came to a steady stop in front of the Civil Affairs Bureau. At that moment, I realized. Turn around. Looked at Liam with some surprise. He smiled gently. Even if Mason didn't escape the wedding, I was also planning to elope. At that moment, Mason and Emily walked out with their marriage certificate. Liam's expression changed suddenly. A cold snort, sister. He is really fast. They actually went to get the certificate. I replied softly. There aren't any fluctuations in the heart, but Liam seems a bit unhappy. He rolled down the car window, gave me a kiss on the forehead. I was taken aback. The cheeks instantly flushed. Liam looked at me with a beaming smile. Sister, I just want him to know. He has already lost you. Mason's expression was dark. He stared at Liam. A hint of displeasure flickered in the eyes. He walked up to us. The tone is very poor. Liam, when did your judgment become so poor? I don't want this at all. You actually picked it up again. Liam clenched his fist, rushed to Mason, gave him a punch. Mason was knocked to the ground. Blood dripped from the corner of the mouth. The two people instantly started fighting. Emily hurriedly knocked on my car window, urged me to go down and persuade. Ask me, Sophia, aren't you going to take care of your boyfriend? I couldn't help but smile, thinking to myself, why should I interfere? I even hope Mason could become more aware. Emily's expression suddenly became serious, clearly did not anticipate me saying this. I have full confidence in Liam, since he dares to go down. It shows he is confident. A few minutes later, Liam is back. There is a cut on the corner of his mouth. It seems there are no major issues elsewhere in the body. Mason followed closely behind him. Bruises appeared on the face, clearly injured. See this. I couldn't help but laugh. Mason's eyes widened immediately. Gritting teeth, said, "Sophia, you dare to mock me." Emily supported him. She said angrily while looking at me, "Sophia, I know you don't like Mason being seen as a substitute, but that doesn't give you the right to hit him." I couldn't help but laugh in anger. "Who told you I like Mason?" Emily's proud expression immediately froze. She was stunned. Look at me and ask, "What did you say?" I couldn't help but chuckle. I never truly liked Mason. Moreover, who can say for sure who is really playing the role of a substitute? Next, I took out my phone, released 2 audio recordings. My heart belongs only to Sophia. Emily and I are already a thing of the past. Mason and Emily's expressions were both terrible. Mason gritted his teeth in anger. "Sophia, you're plotting against me, aren't you?" I raised an eyebrow slightly. "What was I plotting against you? Didn't you say that yourself?" Mason was speechless. He left the Civil Affairs Bureau. The gaze was still filled with resentment toward me. I'm a bit confused. What does the expression he shows in this situation mean? At the Civil Affairs Bureau, I stared closely at Liam. Ask him, "Do you want to be the heir of the Mason family?" Mason always felt that I was interested in him, so he felt at ease having me by his side. These years, I have control over many documents, able to influence his reputation. I have been by Mason's side these past few years. It's not just for nothing. Liam's true situation back then, I've figured it out for a long time. So, I collected a lot of Mason's lace recordings and videos. For example, the incident of drinking heavily at the hotel. There is also the evidence he uses to show off in front of friends. If this news gets out, his image has been greatly affected, but I have always been worried about my mom's safety, so it wasn't brought out. Liam shook his head slightly. "Say, sister, let's deal with this later. There are more important things we need to do now." I was taken aback, then saw him happily running to find the photographer, taking an ID photo. Liam said to me, "Sister, smile." I instinctively tugged at the corner of my mouth, forced a somewhat unnatural smile over the years by Mason's side. I can hardly remember what it feels like to smile. Instead, it's Liam, always wearing a smile, like a fool, hold my hand tightly, afraid I might slip away. It was just when we had just received the certificate. The hospital's phone rang. "Mom is very sick, has been taken to the emergency room." I really didn't expect my mom's condition to progress so quickly. When the doctor asked me to sign the surgery consent form, my hands were trembling violently. Recently, I'm extremely busy with work, including Mason's pressure. The body is already overloaded. I felt a wave of dizziness. Close your eyes. Leaning weakly against the hospital wall, the body gradually slid down. Suddenly, there are warm hands holding me. I instinctively struggled. "Good, sister, go to sleep." This is Liam's voice, light as if afraid to startle me. I fell asleep peacefully like this. It's unknown how long it has been. The sound of arguing gradually echoed in the ears. "Mason, all these years while I was away, how could you do this to Sophia?" It was still Liam's voice that was heard. "Mason is still arguing. Say it, Liam. Your statement is incorrect. I have no idea what the relationship is between you and her. How could it be intentional to target her? After all, she came to see him on her own initiative. It was completely her choice to end up this way." Liam smiled contemptuously. "Speak. You might be able to deceive others, but I won't fall for it. You clearly want to get revenge on me, those who deliberately want to compete with me. So what? Do you really think she will forgive you for pretending to go abroad, since you chose to leave? Then don't think about coming back. Please be quiet. Their noise is so loud. I didn't want to listen at all. It became a torment. So that's how it is. Liam was not dead at that time, instead went abroad." I clenched my fist. It felt like something was tearing inside. Unbearable pain, reflecting on the grievances and hardships experienced over the years. Tears fell uncontrollably. Mom couldn't bring her back in the end. The last glimmer of light in my life has also extinguished. That period, I feel very down. Liam was always by my side, cheer for me, comfort me, but I just can't get myself motivated, feeling very unwell. Liam and I got married, but we don't live together. Not even mention the reconciliation. I often dream of my mom. Saw her sitting at the wedding venue. The eyes were filled with confusion. In a dream, she cried and said to me, "Sophia, it's all Mom's fault. Mom's stubbornness hurt you. Every time I wake up, I am always enveloped by a deep sense of guilt. I understand. It's all my fault that Mom suffered. If I hadn't let Mason skip the wedding, maybe Mom will be better off." Recently, Mason keeps texting me. It's really annoying. I blocked him, but he changed his number and continued to message me. Sophia, Emily really has a bad temper. Every day is managing me. Don't let me do this. Don't let me do that. She said I don't care about her enough, but can't she understand my work? She checks my phone every day. I can't even talk to other girls. So annoying. I saw the text message from Mason. Couldn't help but laugh for Emily back then. He treated me as a substitute. Now he is married to Emily, actually speaking ill of her in front of me. I'm too lazy to argue with him, but Mason just kept talking. Sophia, she doesn't understand me at all. Sophia, thank you so much. You always support me silently from behind, encourage me. Sophia, why aren't you responding to me? Are you thinking about something? I really can't hold back anymore. Finally replied to him. Emily cares about you because she values you. Remember to cherish it well. Mason replied immediately. Do you like me? This question is really direct. I took a deep breath, blocked Mason's number again. I changed to a new phone number. Half a month later, I quit, choose to start a business. Liam was a bit worried I might get tired, but still supports my decision. I invested all my savings. The business is gradually taking off. Everything is moving in a positive direction. Only Mason's situation has not improved. He always believed the baby in her womb was his, always talked to me about this. I hope we can get back together. Sophia, I know you're angry with me, but I can't let you go. I really want to be with you. I glared at him coldly. Mason, the child in my womb is not yours at all, although Mason doesn't believe, but he didn't dare to show it, afraid Emily would be angry if she found out. He can only wait until the child is born and find a way to take the child away. Sophia, don't be disobedient. I will give your unborn child a title. He looked me up and down. Since you like me, just stay by my side. Don't treat Liam as a backup. I am here. Just let me know what you want. I understand his meaning. Just let me obediently be his companion. I poured the coffee in front of me over his head. The coffee is still hot. Mason exclaimed, quickly stood up. Wipe off the coffee from the face. Sophia, what are you doing? I spilled my coffee on him. Mason, it seems you forgot. I have never had any feelings of love for you. You are just Liam's substitute. Mason clenched his fists, creaking sound. He just wanted to wave his hand to hit me, but I reacted quickly took a photo of the scene with a phone. You want to hit me? Come, give it a try. Your company is at a critical moment for going public. If any negative news comes out, I haven't finished my speech. Mason lowered his hand. He shouted in anger, although afraid to take action again. In the end, they could only slam the door and leave. It is pouring rain outside. As soon as I walked out of the company, I saw Liam outside, holding an umbrella and waiting for me. This scene reminds me of college days. I am busy with research in the lab. When I finish the experiment, it's already late. It was then that I remembered Liam said he would come to pick me up. When I walked out the door, saw Liam holding an umbrella in the snow. His eyes were a bit red from the cold, just waiting for me. Sister, finally saw you come out. Let's go back. I felt a tightness in my heart. Tears almost fell. That day, I took the initiative to hold his hand. His hand feels cool to the touch. I kept him warm, curiously asked, why not go in and wait for me? He replied, I'm afraid you'll see me afterwards. We'll be distracted. I sincerely hope you can focus on your research. Don't let me disturb you. At that moment, I felt Liam's concern and kindness towards me. From that time on, he has always lingered in my heart. Liam is as quiet as a drizzle, nourishing all things. He never flaunts his kindness to me, but I always remember it. I often want to ask him, why are you so nice to me? But this answer, I actually knew it for a long time. At that time, Liam always asked me the same question, Sister, when do you plan to marry me? I can't wait any longer. I hope to marry you soon. He always looks at me with that caring gaze. It seems to be waiting for me to say something. I gently tapped his forehead. Marriage should wait until maturity, stability, and a future plan are in place. I will consider it then. Liam feels a bit down, but he nodded firmly. He said he will work hard, but not long later he had a car accident. I withdrew my thoughts. I looked up and saw Liam handing me the umbrella. I couldn't help but chuckle. He has grown up, not as easily agitated as before. Liam told me. He met Mason. It's just like clingy glue. Can't get rid of it, sister, don't worry. I won't let him stay too long. Mason is just responsible for the company. The one with real power is my dad. No matter how obedient Mason is, my dad will never let his illegitimate son inherit the company. I joked and asked him, can I still rely on you now? Liam looked at me seriously. To speak bluntly, Sister, you are my wife. What is mine is yours. I asked him seriously as well. Liam, where have you been these 4 years? He stopped, questioned me. Is that why have you been avoiding me? Heard this sentence, I just realized. This matter has always been on my mind, otherwise. It's impossible for me to do anything besides working, staying at home at other times. Liam asked me out. I always decline his invitations. Liam looked at me. determined gaze. Sister, please wait for me a little longer. I will take care of everything, give you an explanation. I stared into his eyes, nodded slightly. Let's give him another chance. When Emily arrived, I'm busy handling documents. She rushed in, serious expression. Sophia, are you going against Mason? Recently, his company's orders have been snatched away. Are you the one pulling the strings behind the scenes? I press the intercom. Tell the security guard. Please take Emily outside. Emily lay on the sofa, reluctant to leave. I don't want to go. Sophia, you need to explain yourself to me today. I was so angry that I wanted to laugh. I know clearly. This is definitely Mason's idea. He clearly knows I have no feelings for Emily, deliberately causing trouble for her at the company. Just want to see me unhappy. Unfortunately, Mason miscalculated. I have no feelings for him, not afraid of his threats. Emily, do you want to know why Mason missed the opportunity? He really didn't think it through. Do you really think he loves you? In his eyes, you are just someone backing him up. Emily's expression changed instantly. Sophia, you got married and still lure my husband. That's really too much. I glared at her coldly. Emily, instead of arguing with her, why not go back and care for your husband? What is Mason's personality like? You understand better than I do. I certainly understand. He only has me in his heart. He has only loved me in his whole life. Emily finished her sentence, ran away in a rage. I find it really funny. So the recording of Mason chatting with me in private. There's also a video of him losing control after getting drunk that was uploaded online. Sure enough, immediately sparked heated discussions among netizens. Mason's company is in trouble. The stock market suddenly plunged significantly. I collaborate with Liam. Pressure was applied to Mason's company not long after. Mason's company couldn't hold on anymore. He was anxious, had no choice but to find his father. Please give some more money. However, Liam's mom stopped him. Mason will never turn his life around, regardless of how hard he tries. No one can rival me and Liam. Emily and Mason had a quarrel. Later learned that Mason was about to go bankrupt, also took the money and fled abroad. I stared at Mason, not a shred of pity. He brought it all upon himself. Just when everything seemed about to end, Liam's mom suddenly appeared in front of me. Her expression was complex. It seems there is a lot to share. 4 years ago, she invited me to the cafe, threatened me with money and work to break up with Liam. This time, I hadn't waited for Liam's mom to speak. Just ask her first. How still want to pay me off to leave? Liam's mom sighed. There was a sense of helplessness in the eyes. Sophia, I know you love Liam. As long as you don't divorce, I'll give you 100 million, she said. A bitter smile appeared. Did you know? The car accident with Liam was real. Mason was ruthless. At that time, I could hardly control the situation. If it weren't for Liam's dad stopping me, Mason has been in trouble for a long time. Liam was finally rescued. However, his kidneys were damaged, almost couldn't be saved. He now relies on my kidney to barely survive. I took this opportunity to send Liam abroad. Also arranged for someone to monitor him. Sophia, I'm truly sorry. I made Mason aware of your existence. I hope Liam can let you go. After all, I really can't live without this child. Liam's mother had tears in her eyes. It is evident that she has deep feelings for Liam. I always thought he had long forgotten you, so he is allowed to return home. I didn't expect he would look for you as soon as he returned to the country, blocked by me, locked in the room. I once believed he would give you up. Didn't expect he had been keeping an eye on you all along. I understand the child you are carrying is Liam's. I helped Liam sort this out. Otherwise, Mason would have noticed long ago. I originally intended to send Liam abroad, but he was determined to disagree, even saying that if forced to divorce, he would rather not acknowledge me as his mother. Sophia, I only have one child, Liam. Liam's mother was in tears. She cried very sadly. It is obvious. She is filled with regret over the decision made at that time. Liam's newly established company is doing quite well, already secured several projects. If we keep pressuring him to divorce you, he might no longer recognize me as his mother. Sophia, please have some mercy on me. Don't divorce Liam. Is it okay? I remained silent, unsure how to respond to Liam's mom's request. No wonder Liam has been out of touch for the past 4 years. It turns out, I was actually kidnapped by my biological mother. I have no memory of how I got home. Just remember hearing what Liam's mom said. I feel a bit uncomfortable. Liam really didn't need to do all this for me. Once home, I found Liam waiting for me in this cold winter. He stood at the door in his pajamas. The nose is red from the cold. Cautiously holding a bowl of ginseng chicken soup, saw me back. He ran over enthusiastically. Wife, you finally came back. I made this myself. Come and give it a try. This is ginseng chicken soup. Has a warming effect. Don't catch a cold during pregnancy. I looked at Liam. The heart softened involuntarily. Since getting married, he has been trying to make up for the regret from 4 years ago. He showed me through actions. His love for me is genuine. I took the chicken soup and had a sip. The taste is really good. Liam, Mason was beaten and stuffed into a sack. Did you do this? Liam nodded gently. A flash of determination flickered in the eyes. Who dares to bully my wife? He should pay the price for this. A broken leg is a bargain for him. If there is a next time, I rendered him motionless. That's it. He raised the icy red fingers. Wife, look, when I hit him. Even the nails fell off. I smiled and took his hand. Come sleep in my room tonight. Liam's eyes lit up, almost hugged me out of excitement. Great that night. It was the most restful night I've had in 4 years. Restored tranquility. No more nightmares haunt me. Woke up in the morning. The sun warms my face. I stretched, slowly opened the eyes. Looking in the mirror, I see myself. Touched the slightly protruding belly. Suddenly realized that I am only 27 years old. There are many wonderful experiences in life waiting for me in these 4 years. I've been suppressing my true feelings, numb oneself with work, but now, I really don't want to continue living this way, these pains. It doesn't seem like it's mine. I shouldn't be trapped in this pain. On TV, the female singer is singing a beautiful song. Perhaps we have missed some beautiful moments. Perhaps we never had an ending. Maybe we will never see each other again. But deep down, I still care about you. The melodious singing reminds me of events from 4 years ago, during the summer break of junior year. Liam proposed to travel, but I refused, because I want to complete my research. Unexpectedly, many things happened afterward. As a result, I was unable to go. What are you thinking? Liam leaned over, rested the chin on my shoulder. Liam, let's go travel. Liam was taken aback, then smiled and said, sure. Where do you want to go? We will go there. How about we travel around the world, make up for all the unfinished tasks? In that case, there will be no regrets. The day of departure, the sun is shining brightly. Liam stopped the car in front of me. He opened the car door for me like a gentleman. Wife, please get in the car. I can't help but laugh. Mr. Liam, today is really nice to me. Liam gently poked my nose. Tease, if I don't treat you well. So, who should I be nice to? I smiled as I climbed into the car. The car sped away. This time, we are truly ready to set off.